What's up, TW fans? Jake here with another episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse, continuing on with the ICAST coverage. So if you haven't checked it out, head over to the website, tacklewarehouse.com. You can check out all the coverage we did during the show, all the interviews, all the baits, all the products, that we did while we were over there in Florida. Maybe if you missed some of the coverage, we're going to go over some of the stuff that we have here today. It's either in stock, ready to buy right now, or it's up for pre-order, depending on the bait. The first one here is one from Baitsanity. This is actually a TW bait. This is a TW Baitsanity Chimera Shag glide bait. Now, this is a bait that some of our buyers and the guys in the office have been working on for a couple of years, so we're super pumped about this one. Bait that they've spent a lot of time and energy trying to get it just right with Fahad over at Baitsanity. So this bait, we designed this to be that chopping style glide bait. Now it glides, side to side, super hard, aggressively, super quick. So if you really want to get on the reel and chop that thing, twitch it, it goes and gets a crazy action. What's also cool about this bait is you can absolutely burn it, and it swims just right. It doesn't blow out on you. I was actually just testing this last weekend on one of the first production baits, and I was fishing it on a 300 size reel with a 7-to-1 and cranking it as fast as I could, and it just it swam side to side, and track straight every single time. It was awesome. If you want to slow it down, it'll glide side to side and get that nice S action, but really made for that aggressive chopping style bait that everyone's trying to get nowadays. A couple key features about this bait: the weighting system. On the inside, down here in the back half, there is an internal chamber that fills with water. When you put it in the water, it fills up with water, and it's to set the weighting and the balance of it just right. In the package, it's also going to come with some tungsten adhesive strips, and you can place those on the bottom to adjust the sink rate however you want it. It's got super sticky sharp Gamakatsu hooks on it. We got the protectors on there right now. It also has rotating hook hangers, so they spin around and just help reduce some of that leverage. So whenever the fish is trying to twist and turn, it doesn't allow them to crank on it and get that hook out of their mouth. Got the brush tail on there. Really cool bait. You can do a ton of different stuff with it. Got that big eye on it that we really like. And you can fish this at a bunch of different depth ranges depending on where you set your weights at. So super versatile. Again, got that really hard action. We're super stoked we finally got this thing, so make sure you check out the Chimera Shad. All right, from G-Ratt, we got a couple new soft plastics. So this one right here is the Dixie Flip. Really cool flipping bait. The body of it, it's super streamlined and narrow, and then those claws, again, super streamlined, super thin and narrow. And when you look at it from a side profile, it is crazy thin. So this thing is going to be awesome for flipping and punching into heavy cover. It's going to slip right through that stuff, and then it still has enough meat on it. It's going to hold the hook really well. That material on the end and that ribbing, it actually stands up on the bottom, and those two little legs will move around and get that real nice subtle action. But it's got plenty of ribbing on there. It's going to still push a lot of water, so fish are going to feel that thing from a long way away. But really cool flipping bait there from G-Ratt Baits. The next one they got here is their Slim Swim. This swim bait, super intrigued by this. So it, 90% of the body is a flat-sided shad style bait with a lot of detailing in it. When you get up close, you can see the checkering of the scales and stuff. Super detailed bait. You can match it up perfect with a jig head, or it's got the belly slit and you can fish it on a screw lock style belly hook as well. Down at the bottom, got a couple little rings that go into a paddle tail, so you can fish this thing at crazy slow speeds, or you can burn it, no matter what you want. But a bunch of really cool colors in super small finesse style bait. Got a nice 3D eye on there. Just a really cool bait there from G-Ratt. From Picasso, we got a couple new ones as well. This first one here, really unique jig. This is the Lonnie Cochran wart head football jig. Lonnie Cochran is a professional guide out there on Gunnersville, so he catches a ton of fish and likes to tinker and play with stuff and figure out things just to make it a little bit different. So as the name implies, wart head. It's a football jig, but it has little warts all over it. And what I think is super unique about that, the reason they did that is so when you're dragging it along the bottom is those warts catch and it gets this thing to kind of pop and move all different directions as you're dragging along, versus your traditional football head that's going to be smooth. I mean, it's going to catch and bump a little bit, but with those bumps on there, it's just going to increase that action and get that trailer to really bounce and move around. I think it's a super cool idea. Can't wait to try one of these out, dragging around. The metal they're using as well, it's a lead, but they're adding in a few other metals into the lead as well to make it a more harder metal, so to increase your sensitivity over just a traditional lead. Really hard, heavy-duty powder coating on there. Semi-recessed line tie, 5/0 Gamakatsu hook, and really nice skirts. Picasso makes some of the best skirts out there. So overall, just really cool jig. Super pumped to try out. You know, doing some deep water, dragging around out there on the ledges and the points and stuff like that. The next one is an umbrella rig, and we all know Picasso makes some of the best umbrella rigs out there on the market. This is the Perfection Pulse rig, 5-wire. Now, this is a non-bladed version of their Pulse rig, and their Pulse rig is made out of a .035 wire, so the wire is a little bit thinner, so you can see it's easy to collapse it, and without any blades on it, it's made to put teasers on it, so you have 4 teasers, 5 baits, you know, hooks depending on your state's regulations. But with that Pulse rig, you know, you can twitch this thing and pump it and, you know, wind on the reel, and it gets this thing to kind of, you know, bounce around and pulsate and just gets those baits to really come to life just like a school of shad. Swiveling line tie up here on the front. Just a really, really well-made rig. You know, premium hardware, nice screw lock, centering pin screw locks, nice snaps. Overall, awesome umbrella rig. If you're out fishing deep and you're allowed to fish umbrella rigs, one of the best times to throw them is right now. All right, from Spro, we got a couple of baits. So this first one here is the Sashimi Swimmer. Now, we have it in a few sizes. This is actually a brand new design. What's cool about this, you know, you see all the joints in it. The action on this thing, you know, it tracks really straight and it gets a really cool swimming action. And, you know, this is just a sample that Sid, you know, sent us over. Doesn't even have the hooks on it, but it'll come, you know, from the factory, it'll come Gamakatsu hooks on it. We just wanted to show you guys this bait while we actually had one in our hands. So nice shad profile on it. Got a bunch of really cool colors. If you're looking for something a little bit smaller, really mimics like a thread fin or something like that, that's going to be one you want to check out. They've also got a couple new jigs that they're adding to their arsenal. These are both CJ jigs, which are Corey Johnston designs. This first one, the CJ Swim Jig, kind of the head on here, almost like a modified Arky head, but really kind of elongated, slim design. Vertical line tie that's really in line with the shank of the hook. So really flat streamline. It's going to come through cover really well. What's cool about these jigs is just how well they're made. You can tell there's really nice powder coating on them. And the skirts, all the skirts are hand tied, which is a huge plus. Really hard to get a big company like Spro to have a hand tied skirt like that, which is awesome. And the hook, it's a really short shank hook. So you can really slim down the trailer and then also trim that skirt up and have a really compact swim jig. It's going to come through cover really well. The next one is the CJ Flip Jig. Now this one's kind of a modified Arky as well, but it's a lot wider at the base, and then the way that line tie is in angle with the kind of how round the jig head is, it's going to come over cover really well. You know, again, super durable, heavy duty powder coating on there. Hand tied skirt. This one's got a little bit longer shank, but still a Gamakatsu hook. Nice heavy duty weed guard on there. So if you want to throw up into cover, that flip jig is going to be the way to go. All right, a couple more swim baits. So from river to sea, not a new bait, but a couple of new colors. So in the S-Waver lineup, we got a couple TW exclusive colors. So we have TW Ghost Shad and then TW Cali Hitch. So just a couple colors that we really wanted that River to Sea didn't add in their lineup. So, you know, if you've ever seen a hitch like a Clear Lake hitch, or depending on the lake that you fish at, we really wanted something kind of in this tone to really mimic the hitch that we have out here in California. And then just, you know, Ghost Minnow. You can't ever go wrong with Ghost Minnow. Something really transparent, really takes on the color of water and really mimics, you know, a big shad or something like that. The last color that just came out as well, the Lit Shad. So this one got a lot more pop to it. It is a ghost base, but on the inside there's a foil insert that really gets that bait to shine in the light. And on the outside in the clear coat, there's a lot of blue and gold and a lot of flake in there that really shines whenever you move this thing around. But another you know, baitfish kind of colorway with the lit shad. All right, from Owner, we're gonna hit a couple terminal pieces here. So the first one here is their ringed AP hook, which is ringed all-purpose hook. Man, a ringed hook, there's so many different things you can do with it. So big EWG hook like that, it's good for almost any type of soft plastics. We have a whole bunch of range of sizes, but what's good about that ringed hook is now you can kind of do a few different things with it. You can rig up your own custom Jika rig, so if you want to change the style of weight, or if you want to run a short little leader, you can definitely do that and build your own custom Jika rigs. Or if you want to fish like a weightless soft jerkbait, that ring on the end helps you get a little bit more action, and it helps that bait dart side to side a little bit better than having your line tie all the way buried into the plastic. So something a little bit different. Definitely want to have a few packs of those. And then one that a bunch of us are super pumped about is the new Jungle Wacky hook. So this is made out of a different wire. It's called their TAF wire. It's super, super strong, thin diameter wire. And then it's also got that slick gray coating on the outside. So it's gonna be slick, it's gonna be strong, but what's gonna be great about this hook, with that unique bend, it's a really wide gap between the hook point and the line tie. So you're gonna have great hookups, but with the unique bend in it, the couple angles they have on there, plus the wire, it's gonna be crazy strong. So you're not gonna have to worry about using 10, 12 pound test and really leaning into a fish and bending the hook out. Not gonna happen with this new Jungle Wacky from Owner. So if you wanna use heavier line and just ensure that you're not gonna lose any fish or bend the hooks out, this is gonna be the way to go. And the increased hook penetration, you can use light line and you're gonna have no problem getting a hook set and fished. The last one here is a new, like kind of a mid-stroll, hover stroll rig. It's called the Range Roller. So it's a unique jig head, and as you can see, the way the head is shaped, a lot of the weight is kind of up here, concentrated up on the top. And what that does is it's gonna get your bait to kind of roll side to side. So a lot of people are using their forward-facing sonar, or you know, it's just becoming more and more popular in Japan with finesse baits. You know, little shad kind of soft plastic profile baits. Is throw them out there and fish them mid-water column and twitch them, or fish them straight down and fish for suspended fish and twitch them. And the way that head is shaped, it actually gets those baits to kind of roll side to side and flash. And then the line tie, it's specifically positioned there just to keep the right angle to keep that bait rolling side to side. With these, there's a ton of different weights and hook options as well. So depending on the size bait you want to use, you can really dial in to get the perfect size jig head for what you need. It's got a dual keeper system, so it does have a lead keeper and then a nice hooked wire keeper on there as well that you can bend it, tune it out to really grab a hold of those plastics. Just a few cool terminal pieces there from Owner. From Shimano, Shimano got a new line, or Shimano's now making line. This is called Mastiff FC Fluorocarbon. What's unique about this is they're using something called nano armor technology. Now, you're not going to be able to feel it, and you know, as described, but underneath like a microscope, it has a nano ridges kind of around the line. So when you look at it, you know, like I said, under a microscope, there's small ridges around the line, and what that's going to do is it increases the abrasion resistance, increases the strength, but also dramatically increases your knot strength as well. So you know, especially when you're throwing big baits and you're really, you know, working jerk baits or you know, stuff like that, where you're really putting a lot of pressure on the line, it's just going to improve that knot strength. And then, you know, flip in and pitch in and stuff like that, where you want that better abrasion resistance and that better knot strength, this is going to be the way to go. It's crazy smooth. It casts really well. Overall, just a super awesome line there from Shimano. All right, let's go into some reels here. So from Profishiency, we got some super loud reels. So these are the Crazy 3 reels. Now they do share a lot of similarities. They come around at $100 or $109, but both of them graphite frames, machined aluminum spools. Both of them have carbon fiber handles, and then they both have these nice rubberized purple knobs on them. On the casting reel, on the outside, got a magnetic brake system, super easy to dial. It's got a nice spool tension knob, and then got this anodized aluminum drag on there. Super cool reel. Man, it's got great free spool, casts really well. Like I said, with the magnetic brake on the side, super easy to dial in. On the spinning reel, crazy smooth drag system, and then super easy to adjust as well. But super smooth drag, and man, these things are loud, and they They stand out. If you're looking for a reel that's super fun and just super cool looking reel and great performing, for $100, you really can't beat it. Check those out from Profishiency. From Perfection Lures, we got a couple new David Dudley designs. So David Dudley, man, that guy makes some awesome stuff, and he really takes the time to kind of test baits and you know, look at them in a pool and really tinker with stuff to really get something unique and perform the way it should be, not just for looks to catch fishermen. So his new Ned bait, I mean, it's really kind of flattened out. It really mimics a shad or, you know, some kind of small thread fin or small bait fish. But with that flattened out design on there, this thing really glides on the way down. So your Ned rig isn't just going to drop straight to the bottom like all the other ones. It's going to glide and spiral and do all kinds of stuff on the way down and have a more natural action. And then when it stands up on the bottom, I mean, that little bulbous tail is just going to, it doesn't take anything, and that thing's going to move around, and it's going to be moving when you're not even trying to work the bait. So really cool bait. I mean, you can fish it on like a drop shot or something too if you want, but really shines on that Ned head. And then his new flipping bait, man, this guy, you know, all the little details that are in this bait really going to make it a phenomenal flipping bait. So with the shape of it, you know, it is kind of a rounded body, nice and wide, but it's not super thick. It still is streamlined. But there is extra plastic, if you could see, like up here at the top and then in the body, so that you're not going to have a big bulky piece of plastic, but there's enough plastic where it needs to be to hold those hooks in there, to hold a big hook in there and not get, and the bait not get torn up. So holds the hook in there really well, and it's going to stay perfectly with this. Man, those claws on there, really aggressive flange, but they're not giant, so they're going to have a nice tight kicking action, some kind of small legs, nice you know, secondary action when it's just, you know, a little bit of water moving just makes it look more natural. But really cool flipping bait there from Perfection Lures. All right, from Kast King, we got a few things. So first up, got a couple new lines. Their first one is their Hammer Braid. This is a really cool braid. It's crazy thin diameter for the pound strength that it is relative to some of the other braids out there on the market. Super thin, super strong. And then what they're doing with the fibers is the way they treat the fibers and the way they align them when they're braiding it. They get a super tight weave on it, and it gets really smooth, and it's more round. It just casts a lot better. It's a lot quieter going through your guides, and then the color fast treatment on there, it doesn't fade over time, so it's going to stay that dark. Believe this one's black, and we have it in green as well. But it's going to stay that dark color and not fade on you over time. And then they have new tri-polymer advanced monofilament. So, you know, I was like, tri-polymer, what's going on here? So they're using a tri-extrusion process. So they're blending 3 different nylons into one to make a monofilament. And what it's going to do for you with this mono is it has a similar light refraction as fluorocarbon. So most monofilaments, you know, stand out a lot more in the water. This one's going to disappear a lot better in the water, but it's also going to be super smooth, crazy abrasion resistance, so you can grind this stuff along rocks and it's going to maintain really well, and then have that nice, you know, knot strength as well. Endorsed by Bill Dance. You know that guy catches fish nonstop, so if you're looking for a new monofilament, want to try that one out from Kast King. Last one from Kast King is a new, I'm sure you can guess just by the colors of it, new Skeet Reese casting reel. There is a spinning reel as well, so I just grabbed the casting one just to show you guys. But for $99, this thing feels rock solid. So it's got aluminum frame and spool on it. Yeah, spool and frame. But when you got this thing in your hands, I forgot how many bearings are in it, but it's crazy smooth. It's got really nice free spool for it. And then, you know, big yellow knobs, all the Skeet stuff. It's got to have some yellow on it somewhere. But it feels solid. There's no slop or play or anything inside the reel. Doesn't feel like it, you know, anything's loose. It feels super solid for $99. A couple of the small features that are really cool. There's a kind of an indentation right here in the frame. So whenever you put your treble hook on there, if you like to hook your baits on your reel, it kind of sits in that notch and holds it right there in place. The line guide, it's kind of a wide funnel on the back of it. The way the angle is on it, it just allows the line to have less steep of an angle on a cast. So it allows the line to go through on the cast a little bit more smooth than just having a really tight line guide. Easy to adjust brake system right here on the side, and it does have a centrifugal on the inside as well. So you have a magnetic and a centrifugal on there. Rock solid reel, tons of drag power, you know, Can't ask for more from the new Skeet Reese reel for $100. Last up, got another one from Spro. So the Spro KGB Swimbait rod. So this thing made to match up with that Spro KGB Chad that came out last year. Man, those things have been flying out the door like hotcakes. So if they're in stock and you're trying to get one, you want to jump on them when you can, because every time we get a shipment, they fly right out the door. Now this rod is specifically designed to fish those baits, and the way they designed this rod, it's a 7/9 in length, and it has a nice soft action to it. So when you're really working those baits and you get bit, especially with those treble hooks, it's going to load up and you're not going to rip the bait away from the fish. With the handles on them, these KGB rods have a really unique handles design. I mean, it has a really short cork on there and then that small piece of EVA on the back on the split grip. You get all this blank exposure and it tucks in nicely, and it's going to increase your sensitivity and contact with the end of the bait, so you really feel what's going on. And you know, when you get a bite, it's just going to give you greater sensitivity. Fuji reel seats, Fuji guides on here. Overall, awesome rod. If you're fishing the Chad shad or any of those similar style chopping baits or shad style baits, this is going to be a rod you want to check out. Comes in at $279, made in the USA. Super solid rod there from Spro. All right, that's going to wrap up this episode of What to Tackle Warehouse. You know, we're finishing up all the ICAST coverage. Make sure you go over to the website, check out all the videos, interviews, all the baits that came out. Everything's up for, to buy now, or it's up on pre-order. If you want any more information on the stuff that was seen here today, click shop or the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this week's video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments which one of these products you're most pumped about.